What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the QueenVee podcast. We had a little bit of a break for the holidays, but we back. I promise we won't do that all the time. But
Yeah.
I'm your boy VK.
And I'm your girl, Queenie.
And honestly, vibes are pretty high today. We're kind of in like this is I like to say this is like the post Thanksgiving, early Christmas vibe where we just kind of sit and chill.
It is.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the calm before the storm. That's where we're at right now.
Exactly. And like, I don't know, like it's an American thing. Like as Canadians, it's different. But like I did a bunch of work stuff that just finished, and I'm finishing up loose ends this week. So it just feels like I'm waiting for the break to start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
And I also feel like everyone else's lives are so busy too right now, because I feel like it's gonna come. And it's gonna be quick.
Yeah. It's I wish I had as long as a break as you guys, because I work in a different education sector, but still, like, the break from just stress in general during the Christmas period or holiday period, I guess, is very something to look forward to. Our little break is kind of like, so you know how you kind of said you're like building up to that break. We are kind of past that break, and now we're going to be like hectic for like 4 or 5 weeks, and then it's like another break. So this week is actually, I don't know if I said this in the first like introducing podcast, but I'm in my master's program, and this is finals week, and I am dying.
I can't even imagine right now. Literally.
I'm just so tired. But
it's funny because Tati, my sister's also in finals for her master right now. So hearing you say that, I'm like thinking and like looking over, and I'm like, I wonder how she's doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So open invitation, Tati, once you're done with your finals. If you want to come on the podcast, you're more than welcome. Definitely open invitation. But so to start off, like we do every podcast, is we have a comment question of the week. I guess it would be of the 2 weeks, because we missed last week. But it is from our good friend Chris again. Chris CJG. No, we're not picking favorites. He was just the only one that commented a question. So if you want to be featured, comment a question. But his question this time around, first of all, he said vanilla ice cream slaps. That was his answer to our question.
Thank you. Justice, sweet justice.
Okay, so quick tangent about vanilla ice cream.
Okay, got it.
I think it is good complemented with something. So, for example, last night we were at Red Lobster, and I had a brownie sundae with vanilla ice cream, and the vanilla was on top of the brownie, and eating that together was incredible. I've never had vanilla ice cream taste so good. But it's a valid pick. It's a valid pick. Yeah. But his question, and I like this question because I think he asked this question because he knows my answer, is what is your favorite vacation and why, and where did you go?
You're going to have to go first.
You want me to go? All right.
Oh my god.
So I will go first. I will say that I actually have two that are kind of held quite high. However, I'm only going to edge the one which I think Chris is going to expect me to say as my favorite, only because it was with my friends and not my family. I love my family to death, but when I'm with my family, there's just certain things I can't really indulge in and can't really do. Like, for example, like I was in... all right, that sounds a little sus.
That sounds very sad.
But the one I'm referring to with my family, it was a wedding. It was a destination wedding. We went to Antigua, and it was really fun. However, just, with my dad's past, I can't really partake in a lot of alcohol consumption, just out of respect for him. So it was still fun regardless. Plus, I'm the only one my age in my family. So I am the only person in their 20s in my family. So that was another thing I should preface. They're either in their 30s or like in their like early teens or single digits. So I have to, I didn't really have any, still bonded with the little cousins. I had to be more of a role model that trip.
Got it.
But my favorite trip, and Chris knows, Chris knows because he was there. That motherfucker was there. That's why he asked this question. Is we went on a cruise. We went to Bermuda.
Okay.
And it was the first ever cruise I was on. And when I tell you that was the I had fun from the minute I woke up to the minute I went to bed. That was like the most fun I have ever had in that
Really?
capacity. Absolutely. And like the fact that my friends were there, most of my friends were there to like, experience that with us is incredible. And we already booked another cruise for not next year, but the year after. And we're planning on getting the whole friend group going. So I
love
will
that.
absolutely love that. Queenie, you should
That'll be
come.
really good.
You should come. I'm just saying.
I should just crash.
Yeah. Yes, that is totally fine. It is totally fine. But
Oh man.
yeah, that was our location. Let's just say that I was not sober ever on that trip. No. but in moderation. It wasn't like I was blacked out drunk. It was just like, you know that.
Well, you were still able to enjoy the trip.
Exactly. So it was like that good plateau of like, I'm not sober. Like I wouldn't be able to drive, but like I was still coherent. So yeah. So great trip. Love that. So yeah, Queenie, what about you? I'm ready.
I don't have a good answer to that, and I feel like Tati's gonna laugh at this too. But like my family growing up, we don't really travel anywhere. We went to Blue Mountain actually, so we went to ski resorts growing up.
Blue Mountain,
and I'd say, which is in Canada.
Oh, because we have a Blue Mountain in Pennsylvania, so that's why I was like, holy shit, were you by me and I didn't know?
No, and like a big thing too is my family didn't really start going on to like big vacations until I went to college, and then I couldn't go because it never matched up.
Yeah.
With the high school one.
Yes.
I know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'd say the Blue Mountain trips were the best because number one, that was where I discovered my love of skiing. I always got injured, but it was nice to be in that ski city. Let's ski lodge. And it's funny because like every summer I worked at summer camp. So I should be like, oh, summer camp is my favorite vacation. But that's not a vacation. You're working. Yeah, I'm working with my friends.
Yeah.
That's not a vacation.
Yeah.
That's not a vacation.
You're working like 12 out of the 12 hours of the day probably. And that other 12 hours is sleeping. You know, I'll even say 16 out of the 24 hours.
I don't know if you can see my face right now.
No, I can. Is that not correct? You're working 24 hours of the 24 hours?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
What planet are you? I also worked overnight camp. So I was on 24/7, whether I was in cabin or not. So it was just straight working. But I'd say that the ski lodge vacations were the best, just number one, because it was with family. But number two, there was just traditions and things that were made on those trips. You know what I mean? And like growing up, we'd always go to like little resorts like within the province that I live in, as opposed to going away. Like my first time ever going away out of the country, like other than the States. I'd say the first time ever leaving North America was literally right when the pandemic hit. I went to London, England for the very first time out. And it was lovely, but I only got 28 hours before everything shut down.
So you had to come back.
Yeah, but it was crazy because the world had shut down in Canada as I was in the air. And then when I was in London, it didn't shut down till a couple days later. We had St. Paddy's Day. Yeah. And then when I came home, I went from I had a couple of extra days with no masks and no like COVID guidelines, and no one was freaking out because in London, no one was panicking at that time yet. We were starting to freak out because of our family members saying things to us. But like going from that to then going to the airport where everyone was in hazmat suits and masks and people were getting thrown off the plane and arrested. That was crazy on my way back. And then coming back to this completely different world where I got a pamphlet and I was told how to quarantine.
Oh,
it was just
yeah.
And it was just like, that trip was one of my favorite trips I've all time ever had, but it got cut short and I want to do redemption with them. We've talked about doing a redemption trip, but currently one of them's in Vietnam, one of them's in London, and I'm here in Canada. So we've got some work to do.
Listen,
I've got my work cut out for us.
I will go with you. We will go together. That way you're not alone. My goal is to actually live in London at one point. So
really?
Yes.
Well, you have your teaching degree. They're hiring desperately. I get emails all the time.
Well, so like I don't have a teaching degree. I have a law enforcement degree.
Yeah, but what's your master? Like your master's? Yeah, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
They supply emergency supply. They're so desperate. I could get you connected to someone easily.
Lads, we're going to London. Yeah, no, honestly.
VK takes London. VK takes London.
Oh
Wait.
my god. Holy shit. I would fucking love that. And the first purchase, before I even get a flat or like a house or whatever, Arsenal season tickets. First purchase. It's happening. I'm literally wearing an Arsenal jersey right now. It's happening. The disappointment. Cody's face.
I can't say anything though because I thought about getting Blue Jays season tickets,
Dude,
so I can't
yes.
say anything. But also, it costs way too much money, and I've recently. So I used to be very good with my money because I was having to pay off my student loans, and now that I have money and been doing Twitch, I've been spending more than I'm getting.
Yeah.
So I need to be a lot more better with my money. So when I'm saying I'm thinking about this stuff, it's more of a pipe dream because I have other priorities that I need to work with right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And that's why the cruise is not next year. It's the year after because I cannot afford it right now. But yeah, so thank you again, Chris, for that awesome question. Let us know in the comments what your favorite vacation spot was and where you went to. And also, if you want to be featured, leave a comment question down below and we will answer that in the first segment. So with that being said, let's get right into the episode. First of all, I just want to say, Queenie, you look incredible today. You look so good. Your makeup on point, your outfit on point.
Stop it!
Fuego.
I literally just put this on for the podcast. I literally had my hair up in a messy bun all day at work, and I just put on makeup in the middle of my Valorant game last game.
Literally slay,
literally
queen. Oh
slay,
my
and
God.
I wish I could say the same for you, but I can't see it.
I know. We gotta figure something out. Which
we'll figure that out.
You know what? That's what we'll start. That's what we'll segue into. So actually, it's funny you say that. So I want to talk about first before we get into the heavy stuff. Yeah. I want to talk about some future streaming goals we both have. And previous to starting the podcast, we actually said something that actually coincided for both of us. We were both going to do something. So let's start with that. And I'm going to let you just break the news. What do you plan on doing?
Okay, there's a lot of things I've said that I'm doing. I need a little bit more specification on there. Okay. I'd say the first thing, let's start here. So first things first, in immediate weeks in December, I'm going to be going all out in the month of December on Twitch. That is my goal. I have the 12 days of Christmas going out with Christmas events, community events, but also I'm just going wild. I have been posting pretty much every day and following those like formulas on how to get bigger, not because I want to get bigger, but because I'm trying to challenge myself to stay consistent. But the big thing in the new year, I haven't announced this anywhere yet.
Oh, we're getting the exclusive.
Like literally, this is an exclusive, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate. I can already feel it. I can feel it in my bones.
Oh no, I think I know what you're gonna say.
Starting January 1st, 2023, I am going to be making the official switch
to YouTube. Oh!
I know. I'm going to get a lot of flack for that. Number one, because on Twitch right now as an affiliate, and even before, it didn't matter if you were an affiliate or not, you are able to stream both on Twitch and on YouTube. Okay. But as I alluded to in the previous video, I've always been interested in YouTube. Always. It's always been my thing that I've been interested in pursuing. And I went to Twitch because the means in which payment is considered is a lot easier to get into than it is YouTube. But I realized my goals and my streaming goals don't have to do with monetary, if that makes sense. My goals have to do more with the fact that I have very limited knowledge on certain tech. I have very limited knowledge in some areas. And I feel like the YouTube space and the changes that they're making for creators is the space that I want to be in. I just need to set up my channel to do that. So that is also why I'm going all in on Twitch in the month of December, because as of January 13th, that will be when my contract to re-sign as an affiliate happens. So I believe it's January 13th, January 15th, because
is that for like site-wide, or is that just you personally?
No, it's me personally.
I gotta look up my contract then. I don't know when I resign.
Well, normally it just automatically renews, right? But there's a little thing on mine where I can opt out and opt in, and it's really hard to get out of, especially as an affiliate, because you're not really, you're not really big. But I'm probably going to be keeping my Twitch channel. I'm just not going to be using it in the same way that I am my YouTube channel.
Right.
That's number one. And number two, I haven't even told VK this.
Oh no, another exclusive.
Another exclusive. I've really been enjoying my productivity streams. I've been doing them almost weekly now because
I
there's
love
always
them.
something to do, always
Yeah.
something to have fun with. It's more community, and I'm thinking about starting a second channel that's just specifically devoted to that because I don't
Yes.
believe it to be the same as my regular content,
That
but I still want
sounds
to enjoy.
incredible. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That'll drive you, like, I know you're not in it for like the success and like the money, but like that will drive your numbers through the roof, because when I say, like, I was in your productivity stream I think 2 weeks ago, and I was there almost the whole time, and it was a vibe. Like, unfortunately I was there the whole time until you went into Valorant, and then I had to leave, and I was like, damn it, because I wanted to play.
Damn it.
Um but yeah. But no,
But it
that's
was,
awesome.
yeah. I'm hoping we'll see. I have big dreams for 2023. I think 2021 was big because it was my first year on Twitch and my first year in the gaming sphere.
Mm-hmm.
I think 2022 was big for me in trying to figure out how it works with my work life and how it works with everything that I'm normally doing. And then I think 2023 is going to be the year I push, the year I
Yeah.
go, in the sense that I'm going to be trying a lot more. I obviously need to stop purging a lot of money into my setup and a lot of my stuff. So I'm going to be looking at the space that I have and the resources that I currently have, as well as the time that I currently have, and trying to figure out how to best use that in order to grow the queendom, but also keep the queendom the wholesome vibes and not make it something that it's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and honestly, like, I like the route you're taking. I like your ideas that you're presenting, and honestly, like, it's gonna be tough. Like, I'm obviously not gonna say that it's gonna be like easy just to switch over, but like, I know
Yeah.
you can do it, and like, I tell this to my divers and to my soccer players, but like, you like, I will push you because I know you can do it. And obviously, like, I'm not gonna like push you, but like, I'm gonna be here to
Yeah.
support, and I'm always gonna be like, yo, I'm your number one fan, shit like that. So yeah,
You're so
so
nice to
I'm
me.
very, and dude, your YouTube content has been incredible recently. I've been watching all your YouTube videos. Like, it's
I've been
been
hard pushing. Actually, I'm going to full on shout out my editor.
okay.
Because for those of you who don't know, I am actually paying an editor, believe it or not. That's partially why I'm saying I'm spending a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been worth it. Number one, because he knows it's a second eye. Number two, I just don't have time. I physically don't have the time, and I don't have the skill set. And he's been incredible at the editing jobs. He's very communicative. I'm going to put his link in the bio if you are interested in getting some editing work done for a lower cost, and someone who's all about community and showcasing your strengths and weeding out the other stuff.
Yeah, honestly, and so just like Queenie, I also pay an editor. I have my own editor as well. He's a little bit more pricey, but he's very like tailor made, like very specific for certain type of content. He doesn't edit for like I'm sure he'll edit for everybody, but like his editing style is not for everybody. Like, it's like a very memey, very funny type esque. So, but he's also incredible. And when I say, and I'll probably definitely, like, or I should say, I agree with you, is the reason why my content suffered is because I had no time to edit. I either made content or edited. There was no both. With having an editor, I could do both, and it's so good. And honestly, I think that was the best business move I could have made this year, to be honest. I'm going on 2 months of uploading weekly with him, so very, very excited.
Yeah. And also, for clarification purposes for editing, we're both speaking on our YouTube videos and our long form content, not our short form content.
Yeah, the short term content, I think, is just both one man team of both of us. You know, we're just doing what,
And most of the time, I just post what I think is funny.
Oh, for sure. You post that. So I actually responded to someone on Twitter who was like, and I hate seeing these tweets, is they get mad that they only have 4 viewers. And they were like, I'm busting my ass, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I told them, I was like, do the content that you love to do. Because I noticed that they were shifting away from that content. They were just doing the meta. They were just doing, trying to stream whatever was big at the time. And I was like, do the content you love to do. And those 3 and 4 people who love that content will keep supporting you and ultimately grow throughout, because they'll show it to their friends who might be interested in the same thing, etc. And just don't look at it as like, because for example, like, I understand the frustration. Like I said, I've been streaming for 7 years. The numbers are low. I get it. Especially when you're looking at numbers, right? Because that's what all of these content creators do, right? But like, if you just think about like making good content, it's like it doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think to me it's just something
Yeah.
that I can watch like 2, 3, 4 years ago, like later down the road, and be like, damn, that was fucking good content.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so I'm glad you're talking about some pushing in 2023 because I actually agree with that. I'm going to be doing the same thing. So what I was trying to allude to earlier was we are both thinking about relocating our setups. We are
Yes.
both completely revamping starting in January. I think that's going to be really lit. So are you completely moving rooms as well?
I can't. There's no more space. I only have the space that I'm in, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but I have a loft in
Mm.
my room because my room is so small that I need to just build up. But I'm probably going to be moving my setup so that my door is no longer in the background. And then I'm going to be asking Tati B because she did a really great job with her setup. I'm going to be giving her a small budget, and she's going to help me redo my backdrop and redo basically some of the more finer details. So, like, for example, I'm using a widescreen monitor right now.
Mm.
And fixing my monitors next because the one monitor that I'm using is from 2004.
Wow. Wow.
And that's my portrait one. And then my widescreen one is from like 09,
Sheesh.
2012.
You got to upgrade.
Because I focus so much on upgrading my actual PC and then my keyboard and then my mouse. Then I got lighting and then I got gifted this beautiful camera by Reverb and then I got the mic. You know what I mean? Like I'm upgrading little things here and there, but now it's time for the aesthetics. I've got my banner going, right? But I'm looking for the neon lights. I'm looking for the comfort.
Mm-hmm.
My space where when I go, it's not just where I'm going to make a job and make a career. I want to be comfortable. Right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my vibe. But you're moving rooms then.
So
like you have a whole new thing.
I am moving rooms. I am actually moving floors.
Oh my God.
So how my house was set up is my parents always planned on having 2 kids. They only had me. They said, he's enough. He's a handful. We're only having him. Shout out my parents. So I have a 3-bedroom house. I think actually with how things have been updated, I think it can only be classified as 2, but it is 3 bedrooms pretty much. And the office that I am in now is actually my half of it. So basically everything you could see right now is my space. And then the other half of the room is my mom's, like, her vanity closet, her like getting ready for work in the morning. And she uses a lot of products like hairspray and, you know, talcum powder, stuff like that. So the dust in here is incredible. So my setup always gets dusty. I actually have an alert on my phone every 15th of the month is cleaning day, and I have to dust my whole entire PC. So I told her, you know, like when I was a kid, my setup was in my room, like in my bedroom, and this was a storage room, and it was like a mess. Like, I mean, like really bad. And we took a whole summer and we gutted the whole room, cleaned it all out. I moved everything over here. Yeah. So that's sick. But so now we're in the process of doing that again. My dad had a man cave and he doesn't use it anymore. Yeah, he doesn't use it anymore. So
he doesn't use it anymore.
No, so I don't want to get like into too much detail because I don't know how comfortable he is of me sharing things, but that's where he used to go to do certain things, and now he doesn't do those things anymore, so he just doesn't feel the need to go into it's my attic.
Into that space. Yeah.
So over the summer we started cleaning it out again. We're gutting it. But my mom and dad basically took care of all of their things that are up there, and I had to go take care of all the things that are mine that are up there, which is a lot because that became our new storage location. And it's gonna be kind of sad because I had to get rid of things that I'm like attached to, but at the end of the day, like, what am I gonna use them for? Like, you know what I mean? Like old toys and stuff like that. Like, but it is, since it's the attic, it is literally the size of like the width of my entire house. So there's no like divider walls. It's literally just a big open space.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have some room to work with.
Yeah. So I plan on moving all of my shelving up there. So peep my TikTok if you want to see my Funko Pop collection. That's going to be moved up there. I'm going to use that as part of the backdrop. I want to get a retractable green screen, put that up there. Don't, like you said, don't in the lights. And the other thing, the big upgrade I really want to do is I want to get a real camera for a face cam.
That's exciting.
I love my Logitech C920 1440p 1080p whatever, but like, so you can't see my diamonds on my chain glistening right now. You can't see my tattoos in HD right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to see that. And I feel like if that's where I'm going to take my content, that's what I'm going to need to do. The other big announcement is in January. This is exclusive. So like I said, you're getting mad exclusive. So if you guys are VK and QueenVee fans, this is your podcast. I will be having a subathon in January. It will be a weekend long subathon. And how I'm going to do this, because I am really into Call of Duty right now, is it's going to start Friday in the morning, go until Sunday night, if it lasts that long. And for every sub, not only is it going to add an hour to the subathon, it's going to add a camo that I have to grind for in Call of Duty.
Oh my god.
So because I'm trying to get all the camos, it's a lot of work. I'm going to set a whole weekend aside to do a subathon. And for every sub, you guys will get to pick like it'll add a camo, and then I'll even let you guys choose the guns that I have to grind to get those to like finish the camos with.
That's so exciting.
So I'm very excited for that. I'm hoping to be in the new setup by then.
That'll be nice. It'll be like an unveiling of the new setup.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get that in for next year. And then if not, like, I'm not too worried about like the setup being ready by January. I don't think it will be. It might not even be ready till summer, but that is something I'm going to be starting to work on this month.
It's all about manifesting goals. Right?
Yeah. And so speaking of manifesting goals, my other big goal for 2023 is, so my goal for this year was to hit 600 followers on Twitch, and we did that. We nailed that.
Wow.
So very happy, because I don't think people know this. I was only at 400 followers this year. So I gained 200. Yeah, so I gained 200 followers this year alone.
That's crazy,
so
bro.
Shout out you guys. I love all of you. It's seriously, thank you so much. But yeah, my goal is I want to join.
I'm ready.
I want to join an organization next year. But like not like a small org. Like I think I joined. I don't know if because I think I wasn't playing Valorant at the time, but I was in an organization for a while. But it was like a small org, which nothing wrong with them. You know what I mean? No, I'm talking. I want to be like, I have contacts with the Las Vegas Inferno. I got contacts with Soar. I got contacts with Obey. I am trying to grind to get into those teams.
Okay.
Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be strictly Call of Duty, but it is definitely going to be content creation. Like, I want to be in an org, and I'm giving myself a year to do this. So that means I'm giving myself all of 2023 to really grind, to really like make the content. Like, this is when VK content is going to skyrocket.
All right. It's gonna be prime gaming.
Yeah, so that is, I'm giving myself 1 year to join an org, and then I'm starting in 2023. I'm gonna give myself 3 years to make it in the Twitch sphere, to try to make Twitch my full-time job.
Oh.
So if or streaming, I might switch over. I don't know yet.
Really?
But that is my timeline. Is starting next year. I'm gonna do content for 3 years, like consistently. And if it doesn't pan out after those 3 years, not that I'm going to quit, but maybe I'll just shelf it, maybe pursue another dream, maybe pursue like the living in London dream, or maybe pursue, something else. But that is my timeline, 2023 to 2026. I'm giving myself till the next World Cup to do all this.
That's crazy that you're going to be going for it. Like, you're just going for it.
I'm betting on myself. There is so many other things.
I love that.
There's so many other things that I didn't bet on myself for. I am finally betting on myself, and I'm doing this. I always tell my friends, like when I'm talking about Twitch and streaming, I said, it's not if I get rich, it's when I get rich. when I make it in this atmosphere, when I
Right.
make it
Yeah.
in this area, like I'm buying you a Lambo. I'm buying, not obviously not, but you know what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
I like
But it's that mindset, right?
yeah. So obviously I'm not number driven, I'm not money driven, but like
Yeah.
if I don't focus on that, it'll come.
Yeah. It'll come.
Yeah.
And you want to like make this your full-time career. So at the end of the day, you are going to need a financial income to be able to sustain yourself, right?
Exactly. And if I don't make it, then I don't make it, and I got a master's degree to fall back on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is my whole timeline. I'm planning on. My goal is 100 hours a month of streaming. I don't know how doable that's going to be, especially in the beginning, because I am coaching up until like April, I think. But
Okay.
if I really want to do this, and I have my own space now that's upstairs in the attic, and you know all this stuff, come home, stream, like come home, hang with the parents till like 8, stream until what, 1 a.m. That's 5 hours easy. And that stuff, like, you know what I mean? So like instead of like sitting down playing video games casually, why not make it my job? And I'm not gonna play Call of Duty every night. Like I just downloaded the new Sonic Frontiers game. Like I want to play that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I'm excited. So 2023 is gonna be a big grind year for me, and for you as well. So
and for me, it's gonna be the grind.
You're gonna see a lot of QueenVee VK crossovers. Let's just say that.
And I think too, like the reason why we're talking about this is because number one, at least for me, I've had goals in my mind and things that I've wanted to do and say when it comes to just regular things, such as my healthy living goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
But by saying my streaming goals here, this is my way to keep myself accountable.
Accountable, yes, I agree.
Right? And like the big thing is for us too is we're making a guarantee to the people who are watching this, to our friends and our supporters, whether or not what happens in 2023, this is our goal. This is what we're committing to you.
Yeah, facts.
Right? It's not, you're making the commitment to myself, but I'm also putting it out there because I'm someone who needs to, like, obviously in my mind, actions speak louder than words, but I've been keeping this as a thought. I haven't been saying it.
Mm-hmm.
I need to start saying it so that I can believe it and start taking steps towards it instead of just saying this.
Yeah.
So instead of just uploading daily, what am I doing? What am I doing to engage my audience? What am I doing to talk to my friends and support my friends? Right? So this is kind of my way of doing that.
I agree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's another goal of mine is to try to like kind of rope back into like everyone's like circles, because like I've just been so freaking busy right now that like I haven't been able to like play games just casually with friends and do all that. So I want to be able to find that balance as well, as just to like come back to the sphere and just, you know, play games for a couple hours and stuff. But but yeah, so 2023. And the podcast, obviously, we got big goals for this podcast too. I feel like we didn't even mention the podcast, but
we didn't even mention. But I have goals for this podcast for 2023.
Yeah, facts.
If this is the soft launch, 2023 is going to be the full launch.
Yeah. We were talking about doing like some YouTube shorts. We kind of split the responsibilities up, so I'm kind of like the recording and mixing and editing type, and then Queenie's doing like the shorts, and we're actually talking about little hint, we're talking about doing like segments, so like 10-minute uploads, so it's like long form but not so long that you have to sit through an hour to get through. And who knows, maybe in 2023 you'll get an IRL episode.
Who knows Maybe BK and I will finally meet in person.
Yeah.
And we'll take over an office space in Toronto and go from there.
Just break the internet. Break the internet.
Break the internet.
Oh, man.
I love how I also just casually said Toronto, and you're totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Even though that's significantly closer to me than it is for you.
So I got the traveling bug this year. I know we can go into that another time, but like I don't mind going to Toronto. But really quick, speaking of the USA, moving on to the World Cup, baby. With the big W today. Oh, I'm so excited. Commiserations to Canada, who were eliminated. I'm so sorry.
We're like 46th in the world.
Yeah, I know.
I wasn't expecting much, even though one of my students cried about it. I will say that. They were very hopeful. But alas,
yeah.
And that's something actually I think I've seen that is different than a lot of other places. At least in Canada, there was only one kid actually cheering for Canada. Everyone else was cheering for different countries.
What?
Which I thought was like every single one. Like, I heard the Netherlands, I heard Germany, I heard Argentina. What did I hear?
Yeah, probably Argentina and Portugal.
It was probably Argentina.
Yeah.
Yes, because that would make sense from where he is in the world.
Yeah.
And there was one more country, but everyone was cheering for other people. Like, no one was really cheering for Canada. We all watched the game to like cheer on our people, obviously, but everyone was more excited about other teams, which I think is extremely different than it is in the States. At least from what I remember.
So we go hard.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw my Snapchat story. I was actually at a watch party on Friday.
That's so cool.
Like, when I say watch party, I mean we went to the casino, the only casino in the area, and it was filled. Like
with soccer people.
With this USA fans. There was a couple England fans. Very ballsy to go to that, but you know, still. But
the English are always going to be like that. Though. Is anyone really surprised?
And you know what? This is why I love soccer. I love soccer because we can banter, but at the end of the day, we'll buy you a beer and be like, "Thank you for coming out. Hope you had fun." Right?
Yeah.
There's other games where I have gone to where, like, so for example, baseball.
Yeah.
I'm a Red Sox fan. I went to Yankee Stadium to watch the Red Sox play, and even though I was a 12-year-old, I got cussed at, I got food thrown at me, I got all this shit, right? Just, bro, it's a sport. It's a sport.
But it's baseball. To give you context, I'm having some emotional flashbacks right now. I went to the playoff game this year. I was very fortunate to get these tickets.
That's right, yeah.
Like, very fortunate. Like, I'm also not one to spend a lot of money on tickets, but when this opportunity came, Jatsky and I were like, we gotta go.
Oh, of course.
We gotta go. They lost. They whiffed. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a baseball team whiff this much.
The Phillies?
I've seen our own players run into each other on the field.
Yeah.
And have to cause one of our best players to get pulled out. Anyway, that's besides the point. Well, there were a couple of Mariners that were sitting around us in the front row. And then on the other side, there was like a bunch of people that came together and bought like a section. And they were all Mariners fans. And our guy actually got police escorted to that section because it was getting so heated in front of us.
See, like,
we weren't just talking about cussing. We're talking about like physical violence.
Yeah. See,
the physical violence.
And even with the Yankees Red Sox game, right? Obviously, I'm expecting to be bantered. I'm expecting to be, you know, but like, dude, I'm a 12-year-old kid. Why are you throwing a hot dog at me? Like, why are you throwing a beer at me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. But no, like, and I noticed that with soccer is like, we went to the Philly Union game for my dad's birthday, and we're New England Revolution fans, and they were playing the Revolution, and we were in our Revolution kit, and during the game, we were joking around with the fans. They were saying, "Oh, you're cheering for the wrong team," blah, blah, blah. Then afterwards, a lot of the Philly Union fans were like, "Thanks for coming out, man. Good game. Sorry you guys lost. Like, safe travels home." That's how it should be. That's how it should be. But it's not.
I feel like hockey is similar.
Yeah.
Hockey is almost, I would say hockey's even worse than baseball.
Yeah.
I would say that. You've got some pretty passionate hockey fans out there that are willing to take the fines and willing to take the charges.
Yeah. So, but to go back to the World Cup, USA are through. We play the Netherlands on Saturday, and I'm really sad because I can't watch it. I have watched every single USA World Cup game, and I cannot watch that one, and I'm really sad. So I'm hoping that they win, and I can come home and then go to another watch party for the quarterfinals. But that's enough about the World Cup. Nice. I could talk about it the whole time. But
we love the passion. We love the drive.
Oh my God!
What's that song called? It's about drive.
It's about power. It's about power.
Oh, you know what I mean?
Yo.
Oh.
Okay, setting a goal. We need The Rock on our podcast. We need to
My goal, I want to have, actually, I'm going to say it here. I'm going to say it now. I would love to have someone. So, like, I don't have the money for this, but to pay someone to coach me. But, like, when I pay for them to coach me, for a part of the deal to come on the podcast, not like I'm paying them to be on the podcast, but to talk about how they got into coaching and talk about their life.
Like esports coaching?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
esports coaching. I think it'd be so cool to hear that perspective, not just because it's a pro gamer, or maybe content creator or not, and just talk about their life, talk about where they see themselves. Because I often find with content creation, you hear from Ludwig, from Valkyrie, Disguised Toast, all of like the people who've been in the content game for a lot longer than some of these newbies. You hear about them how content creation's not going to last forever and how they're saving their money for when it finally ends. Valkyrie's going to go till she's 80, she says. But Ludwig understands that his light, like his time in the limelight, is getting close to an end, which I don't think so.
Yeah.
I personally don't think that because of the way he is.
Yeah, I agree.
But he's preparing for it. Pokey has been preparing for it, her downfall for years, just solely based on her investments alone.
Yeah.
Right? So like how you expect to do the long term. What are you going to do? Like, how do you expect to, like, obviously we live in the moment, right? But talk about, like, what's going to happen when your game is no longer popular.
Like the It game. Yeah.
Right? Are you going to go into different realms and learn different games? Things like that. Like, or are you going to get more into the content creation piece? Are you going to go into a completely different career? Are you doing school right now? Like, I would love to interview someone and talk to them a little bit about that, because I would find that I think that there's just not enough information out there about it.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Ludwig, Valkyrie, if you want to come on, talk about it. Dude, imagine.
I can't even say it. Like, I'm shaking thinking about it.
It could happen.
Like,
it could happen. We could blow up and this could happen. Just saying.
I don't think so, but like, I can't have that thought. I gotta say yes.
Can't have that thought. Can't have that thought.
But like, yeah, I just look up to those, like, I look up to some content creators so much, not just because of gaming and because of my streaming life, just because of the way that they carry themselves and the things that they do for others is very inspiring.
Yeah.
And that's only something I could even hope to achieve one day through my teaching. You know what I mean?
And I'll tell you what, you probably have achieved that already. You just don't know it yet. Because that's how I thought about my coaching. And I get like all these texts from like my parents still are like, dude, like they miss you, man. Like it takes one good coach. Like, you know what I mean? That's what, like, one of my players sent that to me. And it was like, it takes one coach to believe in you to increase your confidence. Like it was like a meme or something like that. So I bet you that you touch literally every kid that you teach, and they just you just don't know it yet. You know what I mean? You just they'll show it to you in their own way, and I'm sure by the end of the year you're gonna get some cute texts and messages and like notes and, you know, stuff like that. Making you sad. I'm sorry.
I'm sad thinking about it, especially because like my students are thinking about Christmas, and it's hard for me to even think about Christmas because once Christmas comes, then it's March break we're looking forward to, and then it's the end of the year.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me because I literally one of like the last couple of like the last 2 years, this year and last year, I've been blessed with like literally some of the best experiences with these kids. Whether it was hard, yes. Whether I cried a lot, absolutely. But it was one of the best experiences, and I learned so much about myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, anyway, I get emotional thinking about it and how lucky I am to even be a teacher.
Same. I feel the same way about a coach, especially now that I'm a varsity high school coach. It's like these kids are like literally 2-3 years from being adults, and this is their last memory that they're gonna have before of like their youth. You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta really make it worth it. You know what I mean? So that's why like I found a good mix of being strict, but also being like the cool coach. Like, you know what I mean? Like I bring them lollipops, I bring them candy. Like, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like
fun stuff.
Yeah. So like you do a hard dive, you can get a lollipop. Like, you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Oh, so. I love that. I also think too, sorry to kind of swerve a little bit here, for the longest time, especially I think what's going to be good about us setting these goals for 2023 is I felt I don't have a diagnosis, and I don't want people to say this, but I feel like imposter syndrome is a real thing. It's not like I'm saying like no one's diagnosing it. No, what I'm saying is I definitely have tendencies to believe that I'm not in the position that I should be in, or I could be in, and I sit back and I look and I'm like, this doesn't feel like my life. And I've had those tendencies for so long. So now that I'm in a space where I'm ready to tackle that on, I feel like I'm so ready to take on these challenges. I'm so ready to see you grow, but I'm also just ready to challenge the people who are watching this to not fall into the 2023 trap, like it's a new year, make New Year's goals and then move on.
Yeah.
No. Like,
Do it.
I want you to do it with us. I want you to commit to doing something as well for yourself in the comments below and just make that commitment.
I 1000% agree. Like, it doesn't have to be anything remotely related to what we're talking about. Just set the goals and like make yourself like a note on your iPhone or text yourself. Be like, this is what I would need to do for 2023 to be a better person or to better yourself and stuff like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Speaking of being a better person, insert trigger warning here. The rest of this podcast is going to be very sensitive. We have to talk about the FaZe Mew allegations going on right now. And I think
you're gonna have to inform us.
Yeah. So TLDR, which unfortunately is something that you kind of, don't want to say about a situation like this, but there's a lot of details going out that is a he say, she say type of thing. A big content creator, FaZe Mew, who is a big inspiration to a lot of people, who follows me on Twitter. Apparently took advantage of another content creator in the space while she was drunk, and they had relations. They had sexual relations. And here's my take on this. And this is coming from, and I actually made a Twitter video about this. It was like a minute long. And if the people that are on his side watched the podcast this far, and we're getting to this, what I want you guys to realize is, from a legal standpoint, as someone who I believe is almost a master in the field, that what FaZe Mew did is, by legal definition, sexual assault. Because there is proof that I'm going to leave the victims' names out there if you are out, like, censored. If you would like to find out more about the situation, you can look that up on Twitter, just solely out of privacy. I actually was in contact with one of the victims and made sure that they were doing okay. And she said she was, and actually she said that this situation, and I quote, makes her feel happy because it's finally being out. And this is actually FaZe Mew's former partner. So I'm not going to go for how long. It's obviously, if you want to learn about that, go do your own research, because I would like to leave their identities. I don't want to use their names for clout, because they are big creators, and I don't want to use this situation for clicks and clout. So I want to respect their privacy. They're going through a tough time. I don't want to, drag them into any more of the situation. But here's my thing, right? No matter what, it's wrong, right? And one of the reply tweets, and this is more, I believe, an American thing. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the tweets was, "Oh, I wouldn't be calling sexual allegations for college-like behavior." If taking advantage of drunk women is college-like behavior, then we have a problem as society. Because I'm sorry, I went to college. Not once did I take advantage of a drunk woman. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's that is something that, to me, was appalling to read, and a lot of people were saying that. Mew came out with his statement saying that she wasn't drunk. One of the victims' points to the twitlonger was that Mew was feeding them shots. Mew counteracted with saying that he was buying shots for everybody, and not just her, and thought that they had a understanding that things were going to transpire that night and all this stuff. And apparently it was so bad that they can't even remember the night. They can't even remember about the interaction. They can't even, you know what I mean? So to me, I'm like, if they can't, like, remember the interaction, obviously they were intoxicated at some point, right?
Yes.
And here's the other thing that I need people to realize. Even if they were sober, even if there's sexual relations consensually agreed upon by the both of them, at any point either party could say, hey, I'm not comfortable with this anymore. I rescind my consent. Anything after that is still sexual assault. So you could be mid doggy style and they say, hey, I'm done with this. And you keep going, sexual assault. I'm sorry. That is legal. That's not an opinion. That is legal definition. That is legal definition. We can argue all day, but you will lose. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that literally, I have taken, I'm in a class about it right now. So I was very disappointed to learn all of this because, like I said, I considered Mew to be a friend in the content creation space. I have worked with Mew's colleagues through projects. I have, I've known Mew for, since I was a sophomore in college. So that was 4 or 5 years ago at this point. So it sucks. However, just because I know the person does not mean that I'm going to support that person. I look back at, and I don't know if you know this situation, I look back at the Mini Lad situation. He was my favorite YouTuber. Like, watched him every day. Was gonna buy his merch. And when his allegations came out, dropped him. I have not watched a single Mini Lad video since then. It's not a point of a he say, she say. A lot of people are saying that. It is a point of the second consent is taken away. Whether there's drunk or like people are getting too muddied in the details.
Yeah.
The second they say no,
it's a no.
It's a no. You got to stop.
And I think something that I'm learning because I'm not as familiar with this situation, it doesn't matter if you're with someone or not, because you can still say no.
Yeah.
You can still say no. You could be best friends with the person for 12 years and your no is no. And you say stop, it's stop. And
this is something that I also have learned through, just being a good person. Is if you're interested in someone, that kind of sounded cocky. I'm sorry, but
I love it. No,
if you're interested in someone and they're very drunk, you obviously know that they're not in the right mindset. So when I was single and going to bars, I can't tell you, and I don't again, don't want to sound cocky. I don't want to tell you how many times girls have come up to me, asked me to go home with them, and I had to say, here's my Snapchat, text me tomorrow. See if that answer is still the same. See if you still want to. Then we can go on a date, get some coffee, see what happens. I refuse to go home with someone from the bar because I don't know what mindset I'm in and I don't know what mindset they're in.
Which is a good practice because I think that that's like the number one place that people make decisions that they then regret.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't even have to do with, like, it can really pertain to everything, but especially considering the context of what we're discussing. Like, you're not of sound mind, and in a court of law, it doesn't matter. Yeah. As soon as they find out that you have some type of intoxication or any type of under the influence, you are no longer of sound mind.
Yeah. And it's like, unless it's like, I don't want to say agreed upon before then because things can still change, but I'm trying to say is like, if I take someone out, like if I meet someone before the bar, right, that might be a little bit of a different situation. But what I'm saying is like, if we meet at the bar, we have some drinks, it's the first time meeting, or like you're a complete stranger and you just want to take me home, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not comfortable doing that, but like, still, again, the mindset thing, you don't know what people might, like other people might do, might not.
But even when what you're saying, even if it's agreed upon beforehand that you guys are going to go back together, they could still say no.
Oh, no, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Right?
Yeah, right.
That's exactly what you're saying, right? Yeah. Like, you could talk about it endlessly beforehand.
So that's what I was going to bring up with this situation. Right. That's what I was going to bring up with this situation is they came down for Mew's subathon, and he was under the impression that they were more than just friends and thought that night would have been my whole thing is, in order to get a better understanding of the situation or to get a better like feel for how the victim was feeling, literally do nothing that night, wake up the next day, tell them how you feel, see, and go from there. That is literally the like, I guess the most appropriate thing to do, the most
you're being real. You're being
Yeah.
mature. You're making a good decision.
Because like I understand like people use alcohol as catalysts, like it's like the truth drink, right? But
It's not though.
that's what I was gonna say. Like I don't like is it though?
No. No, for the longest time, even I was under the presumption that drunk thoughts
Or
are
sober drunk sayings or sober thoughts. Yeah.
But that is not true. You are prone to do things that you would not normally do, yes, but is 100% dependent on the peers that are around you, 100% dependent on the chemistry of what that alcohol and that substance is doing to your brain chemistry, right? Like it can alter your thinking. That's the point. Alter, not it is what you think.
Right. And
right.
I agree wholeheartedly, and I don't know what happened to the mindset of listen to the victim first until they're proven wrong. I don't understand. Like, I do understand where that was lost in translation for a while, because unfortunately there have been false accusations. For example, there's an Arsenal player who had false accusations against him,
yes.
And like to this day his character is still kind of tarnished because people, believe that victim, which would be good if it actually happened. But like once proof came out and it found out it was fabricated, and unfortunately she was mad because she wanted the player to propose to her and he refused. That's where that all came from. But like almost ruined his life. So I see where that can get misconstrued, right?
That belongs on messy talk on TikTok. That's
literally.
Messy.
But that is 1% of 100% of sexual assault allegations, and unfortunately, it silences the victims because apparently, and I don't want to say apparently because it is factual, but this happened. The Mew situation, the Mew allegations happened a year ago. It's coming out now. It's coming out now. Yeah. So, like. And okay, so to move like towards the end of the situation, because it's still progressing, obviously, but so Mew has been suspended from FaZe, but suspended, not released. FaZe is doing their own internal investigation, which to me is like, I don't like internal investigations because that's how corruption happens. But good on them.
You think that?
Internal, yeah. If they brought someone in to investigate the entire situation with no bias, then absolutely.
Well, okay, I see what you're saying, but an internal investigation could, yes, HR usually someone for the company, but usually they have lawyers involved that are separate from the company.
Oh, fair. Okay.
I feel like that's the case, because at least thinking back to the Try Guys situation, this is a little different, right? The Try Guys brought people in. It was an internal investigation, but they talked and collaborated with other people. Right. So I guess it would depend on fate, like the actual organization and what they define as an internal investigation. But I do see what you're saying now.
Right.
I do see what you're saying.
So he's suspended, which I appreciate. I wish he would take some responsibility and remove FaZe from his name. He did release a statement claiming that, and with his own screenshots and with his own, blah, 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 blah. That's why it's like a he said, she said at the moment. But his evidence to me seemed fabricated, or not fabricated, but doesn't tell a whole story.
Oh,
right?
It's missing pieces.
Yeah. And my thing is I followed his alt account way back in the day. He created a video called allegations.mp4 4 months ago. 4 months ago. So if someone who's not guilty, right? If someone who, or taking away the not guilty, someone who's made a mistake and doesn't know about it, like he claims he did,
why would he do that?
Why would he prepare for a fallout?
That's sus.
And the more really sus that I'm finding out is he's deleting VODs. He's deleting TikToks. He's deleting... if you're innocent, bro, this is how I think about cancel culture, too. If you get canceled over something like really dumb or like something that happened 10 years ago, you address it, you say, I'm sorry, you move on. You don't leave unless the content was probably like, unless like obviously it's like a racial thing and you said something obviously but that's a little bit more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're like hiding evidence,
Yeah.
like that to me means like if you're deleting shit, you know what I mean? Like,
that's us. Like that's the first thing that the drama investigators used to use back when like Spill Sesh, like all of the like beauty guru influencer drama started, and those channels are now moved on to other things. But the first thing they do is check the Twitter, and they check the database, and they saw how many tweets were deleted, and then those people would get caught because they're caught deleting hundreds and thousands of tweets.
Yeah.
And then you go to Social Blade and you check and you see, oh, they lost 1.8 million views
because they were privating videos.
Because they were privating videos. Like, it looks fishy. It looks fishy.
Yeah. Like, what are you hiding, bro? Like you said, you're innocent. Da 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 da. So, there's more people coming out. Yeah. But this is the part of like every allegations thing that I take with a grain of salt, because you really have to see on who is actually a victim and who's just trying to clickbait, right? And unfortunately, that is something that happens on the internet. I'm talking internet only. I'm not talking about like real life. No, things.
I 100% agree with what you're talking about. Yep.
Like for example, a few people came out against Mew that I not personally know, but like that I am aware that there was interactions between them, so like I could see it happening. But then there's other people who, like, if you check their following list, like he only followed them like 2 weeks ago. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying something couldn't happen in those 2 weeks, but they're saying things like
they're using the fame from that name to garner attention to their account.
Right. And
which is not the healthiest.
Right. And that's why like I was actually gonna make a full video of this on my own channel. But I was like, here's the thing. I really want to talk about it. I really want to defend the victims, because like I genuinely do think it was a fucked up situation. Yeah. But I don't want to clout grab. I don't want to put, because like at the end of the day, like I don't want to put them into more limelight, like unnecessary.
You don't want to put them into harm's way.
Right. And I don't want to bring more clicks and views to Mew, which I mean, in a way we're technically doing it, but I don't plan on putting it in the title. So I plan on putting something like Twitter drama or Twitter something like that. You know what I mean? Like I don't
just put
allegation drama. Yeah, like that's it. And that's another reason. And like that's why I wanted to keep the victims like anonymous, because like I said, one of them is a very well-known Call of Duty content creator. So I want their name to be brought up.
Yeah. Those people will talk about it in their time. It's not our place to talk about something that someone might not be ready to talk about.
Right.
And it's not our place to bring attention to it, and even when they are ready, because it's their story, it's their truth, and we need to allow them to have that space to have their truth, but also bring light to the fact that this happened, and that they are not alone, and that they are allowed to say what they are going to say, but we are not going to judge them regardless of what they do.
Yeah, and I actually do plan on inviting one of them to the podcast, just not now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm talking like months down the line. Like, I have a rapport with them. We've been texting, like I'm making sure that they're okay, you know? So I do, and obviously if they're not comfortable with it, then they're not comfortable with it. But I do want people to realize that, like, in a he say, she say situation like this, you have to look at, sometimes it's better to look at the bottom line rather than all the details, right? If all the details could be examined once an opinion's formed, and then that could either support or change your opinion. But I think you really have to, you really have to look for that consent. Like, I mean, that is...
It needs to be said. It can't be assumed.
Right. And it's...
And a nod of the head is not enough.
Yeah. And, like, there are situations where I could be like, like, consent can be tricky, like in very, 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 very specific situations.
Okay.
Like 0.01% of the situations. But like at the end of the day, no means no. No means no 100% of the time.
Perfect. And I think that is the best thing that we can say I think that's where we should end.
I agree.
And I also think that if there is anything else to come out in the next week, that we'll do an update in our next podcast as to if anything else comes out, and update you in the comments below as well if anything comes out earlier and we notice that there's a comment thread happening and talking about it, then definitely we'll keep you in the loop.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to add before we close out is no matter what your stance is on it, you should never send hate to the other party. Like, as you can see, like, I may disagree with Mew's views. However, you do not see me in his Twitter thread, like, shit talking him, even though I might want to. Like, even though I might want to, but like,
we're all allowed to have our opinions, but leave it up to law enforcement and
literally.
To the people who are professionals.
Like me. No, I can't.
Like, you will be.
Yes.
I am intrigued to see what TikTok does with it, because I find the and
I'm surprised TikTok hasn't picked it up yet. It's been like a Twitter thing, you know.
Really?
I think maybe because the Call of Duty community is more like of a Twitter thing, whereas you look at you look at like the Valorant and the Fortnites on like TikTok.
And then like TFTs on Reddit, You've got your forums for specific things.
So,
I get it.
But yeah, again, this is the QueenVee podcast. We told you guys that we would be uncensored and unfiltered, and we would give you our thoughts and opinions on things going on in the world. But with that being said, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, and I really also, before we close out, just want to thank all of you for the support. We've been gaining a lot of support on our first episode is about 20 views away from 100. So, you know, that is amazing. And even if you only listen to 5 minutes of the podcast, it's still a lot of support, and we appreciate all of you. So, again, Spotify, Apple Music coming very soon, still in the process. It's a long process, but it is coming, hopefully 2023. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the QueenVee podcast. We will see you guys next week, and we hope you guys stay safe and take it easy, and we love all of you.
We'll see you in the next one, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Bye.